All right, drone video for tract 18 at the Devil's Backbone project in Howell County, Missouri. This property does directly border the Mark Twain National Forest along its west side. We're looking down at the west side. The easement road borders the entire west side of the property with the National Forest right on the other side of the easement road. So you've got 200 feet, about 200 feet of frontage, I believe, on this one, on that gravel easement road along its west side, and then of course the National Forest right across. So we're actually over the National Forest. We're looking east at the property. It sits essentially just to the left of that kind of meadow area that you see, and it is like we said, a couple hundred feet of frontage on that easement road. Goes back to the east. Heavily wooded property. Nice mixture of timber, probably mostly hardwoods, but we've seen pine in this area. We've seen cedar, as well as hardwood trees, red oak, white oak, hickory trees, walnut trees. A lot of different species of tree on the tract. This particular tract actually did not appear to have a driveway or an existing site, which is the case on most of the tracts. So that's something that if you wanted to do that, might be a great way to add value to your property immediately. It lays extremely nicely. Looking at the topo map here as we do this, and it's going to be the highest toward the west side, just east of the easement road. From the easement road, according to the topo, it rises up very gradually for just a little while, levels off, and then as you go easterly from there, it slopes down very gradually. So it looks like an extremely usable property. Some pretty good sized timber on here as well. So what we're seeing there, that trail, that is not an easement or anything. That's just an old trail. The Devil's Backbone project had quite a few trails kind of crisscrossing because this was used by the former owners or owner's family as one large hunting tract. So they had all these trails. The only easement is the easement road on the west side. So no one can use those other trails to cross your property. They'll just grow up and eventually disappear. So Mark Twain National Forest right there. So nice having the National Forest frontage. I mean, it's just, we were so excited about this project because it's extremely hard to find properties that border the National Forest. It's hard to find properties even close to the National Forest, though of course it can be done, but finding a tract with direct frontage is just amazing. And it sets up a situation where you can have your private acreage, your home or cabin or campsite or deer camp on your own private acreage, and literally venture into tens of thousands of acres of additional acreage that you can use for hunting and camping and recreation. And there are trails and rivers and creeks. I mean, it's similar to having, you know, a 50,000 acre ranch in Texas, except you're not paying taxes on a 50,000 acre ranch or anything like that. You just have your own private acreage, and you can go directly into that National Forest. So it's a fantastic situation. We already mentioned heavily wooded, as you can see. So now we're over the National Forest and we're looking east. You can't quite see the easement road. It's just below us, and then crossing over onto the property. Gorgeous, gorgeous tract. After it's been paid for in full, of course, then you could cut the timber, you could log it, you could use it for firewood or potentially for a cabin. Prior to that, you cannot cut the timber, except that we often are able to get written permission for doing an improvement like a driveway or a building site in this case, or a camping site. So you can contact us for details about that, but we have what we think is a really simple process if that's something you want to do. So yeah, get a hold of us. Tract 18 at the Devil's Backbone project, surveyed with the corners marked. Beautiful property, and obviously the National Forest is right there. So a pretty special tract.